guys, Azur here. We're going to be talking about the Soulweaver build from module 29. Starting with the race, guys, I'm still with the Wood Elf for the additional critical chance. You can go with the Dragonborn for power critical chance. You can go with Asimar for power and outgoing healing. You can go with the Drow or Renegade Drow for the debuffs. Just remember, if you have one of your friends running Drow, pick the other one because both of the debuffs stack. And it's really good with the Warlock. It has some fast hitting at will, so it's reliable to proc the debuff. For attributes, I'm using Dexterity for critical severity and Wisdom for outgoing healing. If you don't need the critical severity, you can always go to Charisma to get some Forte and recharge speed. Forte will help you out with the regen. Looking at the stats right now, I'm going to use my debuffs here. I used Watermelon Sorbet, Wildstorm Elixir, Invocation Blessing here. Just use that random one and get 1,000 ratings. Why not? And the Flask of Potency. You can also build with the Squash Soup. It's gonna give more stats, but Squash Soup is typically more expensive. But if you want to farm it, this is the time to do it. I usually just grab enough for myself and to do my builds whenever I need it. Because this is more expensive than Watermelon Sorbet, I try to go for the Watermelon Sorbet first. I'll go for that. You can always use the Zurek or the Batwing Soup. The Zurek you buy it from the Guild Stronghold, and the Batwing Soup you buy it from the Demon Epics campaigns to give you some additional outgoing healing ratings. I'm not going to be using this on this build, but if you need the stats, this is another source of it. Looking at the stats right now, we do have 66 power. We do have to get 15, another 15 from the Raptor, 5 from my helmet. We do get 3.5 from Portobello, 6 for the Boon. You can get up to 3% from the Forger box, guys. We're gonna get above the 90% with the power, but a little bit of it fluctuates, so I don't worry about that. And there's nothing I can change about it, I'll be honest with it. Critical strike is kept, critical severity is kept. We do have the outgoing healing at 81. We're still gonna get 11 outgoing healing using our gear. 5 from the helmet, 6 from the shirt, so we are above that as well. I do have some extra outgoing healing coming from the Divine Aegis. We also have the Open Ring. It doesn't show up, the Open Ring does not show up in the status page because it's a conditional outgoing healing. So it's not going to show up there, but we're going to be getting that whenever we use a Vampiric Embrace, which is your main heal anyway. And that's the build, guys. Let's get into it. So guys, for the head piece, we are just upgrading the one we had in the last module for the one that drops in the Master Dungeon, the Lair of Mad Dragon. Give us outgoing healing and power. You can, if you don't have that, you can go back to the one for Imperial Citadel. It's the same thing, just lower iron level. Don't have that, there's the one from Advanced Moon Dancer, which gives 12% critical strike. There's a bunch of others that give critical strike, like this one here from the Demon Lab Pits, or the one from the Dragon Hunts. Though this 10% 10 stacks here you don't really get 10 stacks with the healing. It's annoying. We have some kind of a cap of how many stacks you can get at once, so you never get 10. But yeah, there's a bunch of other options here, but the iron level goes lower and lower, guys, and we do have to change for the high iron level pieces to get ready for the next module. I'm still rocking the debuff chest piece, still best in slot, guys. As you saw in the beginning there, I'm capping all the stats, so there's no reason to run anything else here other than that. This is a huge debuff, guys. This is a huge. It reduces the enemy's defense, awareness, and critical avoidance by 5, man. You just have to be really close to the target, guys, really close. And it's kind of having a lot of artifact up all the time, guys. It's really good. If you need the stats, and if you don't have this chest piece, you can go back to the ones from the Demon Web pits as well. It helps out the team as well for an additional 2% critical strike to all the group members. So it's great. It gives you outgoing healing. Yeah, you're gonna have a bunch of stats that, man, it's so easy to build with the Warlock. I don't know. There's other pieces you could go for, like the Reeb Cage from the Dagger Hunts. We do have an upgraded version for that in a new dungeon as well. So it's great, but you're gonna have so many stats that you're not gonna be able to know what to do with it. So just go for the debuffs, guys. It's better. You're gonna make your runs go faster, and yeah, you're gonna have less work to do. So for the armed guys, I'm gonna be using the new ones from the Master Dungeon. It gives you performance. I'm not gonna say it's better than the ones that we had in the last module, but I'm just using for the iron level. It gives you 20% soul Eve and 3.5 forte. If you don't have that, you can still run it, the ones from the last module. It gives 25 and 2.5. You can run the ones from the Moon Dancer, which is only give you 25 soul Eve. You can run the ones from Dragon Hunts, especially if you're going with the Warlock Healer over times, which gives you a bunch of power. You can run the ones from the Demon Rapids that give you 3%, critical strike and forte. Weapons, I'm running Void Touch for the iron level, and it already gives me 5 right away, with the possibility of giving me another 6, so 11 total. It's better than using Solarian, because Solarian only gives me 6 no matter what. I know it has some additional heal, 5.5, but that bonus there is kind of tricky to get the bonus out of this, because it only procs on the difference of HP between you and the person that you're healing, which is not much most of the time, so I'm probably gonna get 2.5 out of that, so 8. I just rather have the Void Touch, because we are higher iron level, and they give me 5 guaranteed, with the possibility of giving me another 6 with the stacks. If you need the stats, 5% critical strike, 5% critical severity, can go for perfect. And if you know you're doing some easy fights, or you don't need the healing, you just want to support the team even more, you can go back to Mastercraft, any form of Mastercraft, old version, Fey Pact, the Dwegar, and even the Weaver, to get some additional damage to your DPS and mitigation for your tank. So for the boots, guys, I'm using the new ones. Again, for the iron level, if you need the regen, you can go back to the ones from the Moon Dancer, which gives 20 no matter what, where you are. If you don't have that, you can use the ones from the Imperial Citadel as well. It gives you 10. And if you are in Wild Space, it gives you 20. And also give you 2.5 outgoing healing. There's a couple others, but really old ones, like the ones from Demon Rapids, they give some outgoing healing ratings, stuff from Dragon Hunts. But the item level difference is getting higher and higher, guys, so we gotta change those. Using the ones, and if you're wondering, it does stack with the helmet. With the helmet, just don't have it here. The ones, the helmet from MTOS, it gives you regen. It stacks artifacts. I'm using the Blast Scepter for the 15% damage debuff we have. This is the best one to have. Usually, some DPS are not even running Demogorgon, guys, so if you can also run that, because this actually the stronger artifact, the strongest. It gives 24% damage debuff according to Aragon. So this is the best one. It does have some prep time, so you have to use the Demogorgon before everyone else. First that, so at the item level it's a little lower compared to what we have right now. That's why DPS are not using this. You can also run blades, which is really good to have because it's one of the strongest. It gives 20% damage reduction to the enemy, and the debuff is 20% also. I'm using the Symbol of Water here for the stamina regen, and the one that completes my artifacts. Here, Metal Mask. If it's your main, you can of course upgrade this to get some extra heals from the item level gain. So for our set, I'm using the Mallet set for the additional 5% damage to the group. If you see a DPS using this, you can go back to the Apocalypse. It's the same thing, it stacks. It's possible that the DPS is using. And the V-Stunning works with the Warlock as well. All the artifact sets work with the debuff ones, work with the Warlock. It's fine. If you need stats, if you need help healing, there's Detector's Shock here. This set from the Moondancer gives you wisdom, outgoing healing ratings, and even has the set bonus that goes above the cap, giving you another layer of outgoing healing and some extra forte to help out with the regen. But we are capping everything. I don't need those. I'm gonna stick with my debuffs. We using Grace as well for the debuffs. If you need stats, you can drop the Grace. It doesn't help you at all, not even if the ratings. So you don't actually have good rings this module. So you're gonna have to use the old ones. This one from the Imperial Citadel gives outgoing healing. You have the ones from the Moondancer, it gives critical strike. This one gives you outgoing healing, the dominance. So all great options. We do have some stuff you can buy from other players like this one, glowing restoration ring. The other ring is the Open ring for increasing the heals above the cap. It works for all the powers, but mainly with the Vampiric Embrace, which we use all the time. No matter what kind of Warlock you play, shield or heal over time, you're going to be using Vampiric Embracing benefit from this ring. Shirt, I'm using this one from the Moondancer because it's more reliable, guys. It works AoE, it works with a bunch of ads, it works with just a single enemy, so it's active all the time. It's more reliable, but eventually gonna have to change because of the item level. The new ones, I think it's 240, it's 2400, I think, so it's still fine, I guess. So for pants, we using the new ones. Still have the advanced one here because I don't have for all the healers yet. The mythic one, this one, gives 5% critical strike. Whenever I get it, I'm gonna put it on the Warlock. I just have a feeling the other classes will need this more than the Warlock. You can still run the old ones. They give 5% power, 5% defense, are great as well. For now, I'm using the advanced ones. It gives 4.5. Not a big difference, to be fair. Enchantment wise, guys, I do have 2 Jades in the options, 2 Garnets, and defense you can run whatever. We do have a Jade in the utility here for the outgoing healing. I'm running Devil's Precision. The other overload is up to you. You can go White Dragon's Enchantment, you can go action points if you feel like it. You can go wards depending on the enemy you're facing. We have Dragon Ward, Demon Ward, Undead Ward. All those wards that give the damage mitigation to everybody through your heals are great. Combat Champ is Divine Aegis for the additional outgoing healing. This goes above the cap, so increasing your heals. And the bonus is movement speed. I just use movement speed here because I do share everything across all my healers, but the Warlock it's really fast, so if you feel like it, you can just change it for the action points, recharge speed, whatever you feel like it. But it's good to have the extra mobility. Same old story, power, critical strike, power, critical severity, have defense here, movement speed. I usually grab the lingering effects, lingering power, and lingering medicine at least, because these are the ones you benefit the most. Have awareness, power, outgoing healing, forte, recharge speed and action point gain, and the master boon is blast resilience and blast advantage. Guild stronghold, I'm using power. Defense, I'm using defense. Utility, I'm using revive sickness. Companions is the good old Portobello for the 3.5 power and 3.5 combat advantage to everyone. There's a bunch of others you can use, guys. Trits, it's always a 3% damage increase. Tutor, 5% combat advantage. Spine Devil, 10% damage to the group. We do have the new Diana, which is for your daily activities, like 10% movement speed for everyone, which is great. We have new Flapjack, which is another 5% combat advantage. Let me see what else I have here. We do have some. I don't have this here. We have the Harper Bard, which gives 2% power, 2% critical strike. So we do have a bunch of options now. We actually changed a bunch of companions to help out teams, so it's great. But usually I just stick with the Portobello because it helps me out as well with the 3.5 power. Since we're using a bunch of the debuffs, I do need some extra help with the 3.5 power here.
Our enemies are doomed.
Equipment wise, I'm running the new ones that gives Forte and outgoing healing. Enhancement, dual senses for reducing the enemy's awareness. Usually the tank runs the armor break. If the tank is not running armor break, you can go with this. Other than that, vulnerability to reduce enemy's critical avoidance is third spot, and the fourth is slowed reactions. It reduces damage deflection. So in a trial, you're probably gonna have to coordinate with your team to run all of this. Portobello also gives advantage nullification, which reduces the enemy combat advantage, which is a kind of a mitigation because the boss always has combat advantage on you no matter what. So it's good to have another reason to have Portobello. Companion bonuses, I'm using Grump. You can go with I'm not sure if I have it upgraded here. The Black Dragons inside is the same thing, gives critical strike. Golden Bullet for the outgoing healing bonus. Fawn Instance for power critical strike. Raptor for power. And Proud Picking for outgoing healing. So for the mounts, guys, we do have the usual 4: Eclipse, T-Rex, Pegasus, and Swarm. This time around we do have 2 extra. The one from the Protected Jubilee event, the Dragon, and the one from the new lockbox, Bestial Fire. Try to have at least 2 if you're starting, just in case you need to switch with the tank. I recommend you start with the Pegasus. It will help out with outgoing healing, will help out with your daily activities because it's an AoE mount. It does a lot of damage, so it will help out your daily stuff. And yeah, eventually try to have at least 4 trials as well. Equip power, guys, go for the auras. There's no reason why you should be going for anything else, honestly. Mystic Aura, Runic Aura, try to have those at least. This already gives you a little bit of power to help you out, so you can go for those first. And again, after that, Pack Tactics as well in case you need. I always go with the Mystic Aura or the Runic Aura for the additional power as well. But sometimes I have to change because the DPS asks for it. As you saw, man, in the beginning there. So for the mount callers, outgoing healing, critical severity, guys. Other than that, it's up to you. I do use encounters here, movement speed, and rough AD. Bonus, I'm using Shepherd's Devotion to get some extra movement speed whenever I use a daily. Not a big deal, guys. If you have other things, you can change it for maybe another Mendes Covenant, maybe more Gladiator's Ghoul, anything else really. It's not a big deal if you don't have this. Mendes Covenant can give you a little bit of ratings for outgoing healing, critical strike, and critical severity. Gives 1500. You can have 2 of these, but the more you have it, the less effective it is. If you have 2, the second one will give you half. Gladiator's Ghoul for the additional movement speed. It helps out with the stamina as well. Stamina regen, always have your stamina up. Magistrate's Patience is the best one to have as support to give everyone a little bit of a defensive boost. It does proc on a critical heal, so that's why it's great to have it. It's always going to be up whenever it's available. It has an internal cooldown, but whenever it's not a cooldown, it's active. Lionheart's Perseverance here is just an emergency heal for myself. Again, not a big deal if you don't have this. I'm just using this to try to get the extra 20% Insignia bonus there. So for powers, guys, I'm gonna be starting here from the last feat. The first one here, we have two different play styles depending on what you choose. The first one here is the Heal Over Time Warlock, and the second one is the Shield Warlock. No matter which Warlock I'm playing, I always go with Elder's Blast, Infernal Sanction. Elder's Blast for proccing the debuffs. It works for every single debuff. Apocalypse, Merilith, Stunning, Grace. And the Infernal Sanctuary here, it has 800 magnitude shield whenever you play the heal over time, and it has 1000 when you play the shield. Vampiric Embrace is always on as well, because this is the strongest shield we have. Revitalize, most of the times I usually play it when I have the heal over times on. I don't really like when I have the shield on, unless I do need the cleanse, which we do need in this new dungeon, so you're probably gonna have to use this to clean the fire from the second boss. Other than that, I always go with the Warlock Bargain as well for the additional Soul Weave, get a chunk back. It does increase the outgoing healing, but it doesn't go above the cap. If you can always go Pillar of Power as well if you're not using Warlock's Bargain or not using Revitalize. For, again, outgoing healing here doesn't go above the cap, but it does, Pillar of Power does give you some mitigation and increases the party's damage. You can use Wraith Shadow to try to do some mitigation as well, decrease target's damage. Blade of Vanquish Arms again to give mitigation to the tank. And Arms of Hadar here to do some crowd control if you need it. Daily, I only use those two. If we need some mitigation and everybody's grouped up, I'll just use Soul Barrier. It's a 10% mitigation. It has some good heals on top of that. It gives shields as well. But if everybody's split apart, just use Soul Effect because it does the same mitigation. It does some heal on the players as well, but it's just a one-time thing. So always have those on. Class feature, Shadow Walk, increased movement speed and critical strike, and Soulbound. This is the only two viable, honestly. This is a kind of an emergency heal whenever someone drops below 50. If you're in a trial play, you can use Borrowed Spirit if you're struggling with regen. Whenever you get healed by another healer, you'll get some Soul Weave back. Only if you're in another trial then. For the feat here, I'm using Essence of Power, guys. This is the more reliable one. I rather use this because you're always going to be attacking the boss, attacking the enemy, no matter what. So always going to have this active. This needs a little more discipline. You cannot be using all your powers all the time, because if you do, you're not going to get the benefit of this feat. So I just rather use this one. I'd rather recommend this one. This is another kind of an emergency soul weave thing. Whenever you drop too low, the soul spark will try to regen to give you back the soul weave until you hit 30% again. So whenever you use things like Warlock's Bargain or the Soul Barrier, your soul spark is going to go away and you're not going to get this thing here. So be mindful on whenever you use the Warlock's Bargain. Soul Theft, again for some additional soul weave whenever you get struck. From the Brinks for some additional heals whenever you're healing someone that's low hit points. And that's it for the video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, try to help me out here. And yeah, if you have any questions, just leave it in the comment section. I'll be sure to answer those, man. And I see you guys around, man. Take care.